Welcome to another edition of Ask the Millionaire. I'm Marc Kramer, and I'm thrilled to be talking to all of you today. Hope everyone is healthy and safe, and so are your families. We have a lot of great questions to ask today, so I'm really excited about talking about those. So the first question we're getting is from Corey Stevens. Corey asked, what are some of the things I should be doing in the early stages of building my plumbing company? This is my first time going self-employed as a plumber. I'm writing to know what are some of the things I should be doing in the early stages that will help me grow my business, and what should I be focusing on most? Well, Corey, so it's a pure startup. You're trying to make sure that you keep your costs down. Here's what I would do. One is I would go to a GoDaddy or some of these other inexpensive websites and make sure you have a website, because that's an absolute must-have, is a website, and that will only cost you maybe a couple $100 for the entire year for you to have a site on them, and you'll get one of those pre-done sites, a template that you can easily fill in. Second thing I would make sure I did was get business cards, and you can get business cards for about $10, get 500 cards. Then I would make sure that I posted on Facebook if you're dealing with consumers, and if you're dealing with business people, I would set up a LinkedIn account and set up my name and my company on LinkedIn, and then I would put on those sites that you've opened up your own plumbing business and what you're able to offer and the geographic area that you're offered in. Then I would send out an email to all of my friends letting them know that I've opened this business. And I'm sure your friends know, but you should send it to them again. And also with those friends, ask them to share the information. I would create a flyer that says who you are and what you're able to do, and ask them if they could send it out and post it so they could help you. If you belong to a place of worship, I would put a flyer in places of worship. If you're able to go around the condominiums, I live in a condominium with 500 units, and people were able to put things on our poster board to let us know that they exist. I would go and put on poster boards in all the apartment complexes that you're available to go and help them. I would put it in rec centers, everywhere that people congregate, supermarkets, where they have bulletin boards. So everywhere people go to take a look, and always are looking for help. And make sure that when you have the flyer, on the ends of the flyer, it has your phone number that they can just rip it off, take it, and be able to give you a call. So that's where I would start from. And it doesn't hurt for you to go and create your own marketing plan where you list all the places that you would like to see your name, where people could associate you with your plumbing. And if you don't have a non-compete and you work for another plumber, let all the past customers know that you've now started your own business. So I think that those things should get you going. The next question is from Jenny Dawson. Jenny writes, should I pay the expense of business cards and uniforms for contractors? My business offers yin yoga, sound healing, and meditation services. As businesses evolve and I'm bringing on people to help me with events around the city, I want to make sure I'm branding them properly. I'm having embroidered shirts made with my logo on business cards designed for the contractors. Is that my responsibility as the business owner to purchase the shirts and business cards for the contractors, or should they buy their own? Thank you so much for the insight. So if this was a franchise, then I would say they would buy it on their own. But if they're working for you and they're working as contractors and you're not paying them any benefits because you're trying to make sure that you keep your costs down but the quality high, then I think you should provide them with the cards and the shirts. And I don't know what the revenue split with this is, but again, they're working for you, they're under your umbrella, and I'm assuming that you probably also have an agreement with them that doesn't allow them to solicit the customers that you are sending them. So I think, again, It's not a big investment for you to go and make, but it's a worthwhile investment, especially making sure there's consistency on how you market and present your brand to the public. The next question is from Samuel, I hope I pronounced this name correctly, Verilot. Samuel asks, what's the best way for me to collect and share revenue on sales of my product with a third-party vendor? My company provides high-quality landscape photography to fill the space from empty walls from residential and commercial properties. I recently was offered by the Westin Harbor Front Hotel in Toronto to feature my photography on their walls, and our collaborative deal included that for every sales of my photography, they will receive a 15% commission. I'm trying to figure out what is the best way to automate and split the payments from both me and the hotel by making it as simple as possible for both of us. I'm also trying to figure out if this needs to be set up in the hotel's end or on my end, as it seems logical to me that a customer will either pay the front desk of the hotel or through a QR code to facilitate the transaction. Thank you for your help looking into this, and I'm looking forward to learn what you all think. Well, that is a complicated question in this sense. If the hotel sells it and they run it through their system, which makes it super easy, they're now booking revenue. So let's say the the piece of photography goes for $100, and they get their 15% commission, but on their own tax return, it's going to show that they got $100. And now, of course, they're going to have to show that they paid you that difference. I think it's still easier for the hotel to go and run it through their system. But if you do a QR code and it gets paid now, before they can take that painting, unless you're shipping it to them, before they can go and take it, now the hotel has to make sure that they actually bought it from you. So you'd have to tie your QR system where it automatically sends an email to the right person at the hotel. I think to make it simple, I would just have the hotel go and sell it, and then you will get the proceeds minus the 15% transaction fee and whatever taxes are, and maybe they get a little bit more than 15% because they're actually doing this work, and they're also giving you that space, which is fantastic to get that kind of prime space with a lot of traffic. So I think let's just make it as easy as possible. A second question from you asks, how do I negotiate with my first big client without jeopardizing my relationship? My company provides high quality landscape photography to empty walls of residential or commercial properties, and I recently closed a big client, which you had mentioned, the Western Harbor Front Hotel in Toronto. They're willing to collaborate with me, but I have to pay for the framing and printing for my photography. Framing and printing can be very expensive, especially since my company is starting up, so I would like to see if I can negotiate and have my client pay for some of the initial cost. In addition, I also feel that since it's my first big client, I don't want to approach for more and turn them off, as they've provided a lot of value to give me physical visibility for my brand with a hotel that has a great reputation. I think that you need to bite the bullet and maybe even borrow the money, whatever is needed. Now, if the pictures are in the hallway, then you should pay for the framing. If they decided that they want to have pictures in the rooms themselves, then either they should pay or you have some kind of split, because people won't necessarily think of buying the pictures from the walls in the rooms themselves unless it's designated that they could do that. So if it's on the wall, on the hallway walls, and there's signs that tell people they can buy them, great. You pay for the framing because it's to your benefit. They're providing with the space and the traffic, and that's great for you. If it's going into all the rooms, that's an inexpensive way for them to decorate the rooms, and therefore they should pay for the framing. And maybe you're cutting them a deal where they're buying these pictures that are on there, and so they can get photos from you cheaper than they can get paintings from somewhere else. So again, you can be open and honest with them, but you don't want to come across as weak or that they feel that you're a vendor that doesn't have the financial wherewithal to support them. And if you could show them that you are and it works out, they can introduce you to us or other Western franchisees, and this could come a big opportunity for you. In fact, they might even think about having you do custom pictures in the areas that the Westons are located, and now they'll have you traveling around the country, and maybe they'll even put you up there and feed you while you're doing it, and now you've got a client. Maybe they're even willing to pay you to go and do it if they could own those pictures and maybe even resell it themselves. So there's all kinds of options and opportunity for you here. Best of luck with that. The next question comes from Lloyd Brown. Lloyd writes, when adding additional employees, should I hire before I'm ready for them to start, which wouldn't be until November 15th, that's today, or wait until I'm ready for them to start and then hire? I'm adding a third truck to my moving company on November 15th, and I need to hire a team of 3 to service the jobs. Movers I can usually hire quickly, but a qualified manager may take some time. So let's assume that you're going to be adding more trucks besides today. And Lloyd, if I were you, and knowing that's it's an expense to hire somebody, I might hire somebody maybe a month in advance so you could train them the way you want them trained, and then watch them work with one of the other trucks so you can get a feel for them. And remember, they're probably on a 30, 60, or 90-day process of determining whether or not they're fit into the organization, this trial period that you have. But you want to make sure that they're ready to go. You don't want to install somebody as a manager the same day that they have to take over the truck and they don't know the processes and procedures. If you said, hey, I could do this all in a week and a week's enough, well, then start them a week in advance. But I would make sure you gave yourself enough time that you could see them in action before you actually put them in charge of a truck. The next question comes from Michelle Adams. Michelle writes, how do you value intangible assets such as customer email list, customer contact list, established business phone number, brand goodwill, referral of established business accounts, license to use copyrighted trade secrets, and referral from a website? I own a food business and I'm interested in selling just my retail business. I'm keeping my trademark brand, website, and social media, social accounts for other business opportunities. I have an interested buyer who'll be using a different name for the retail business, but is interested in buying all the tangible assets along with the mentioned intangible assets. So there's a couple ways that you can go here. One, you can go to a list broker and find out how much your list is worth by trying to see what it would cost for you to buy from them. They might say each of those emails is worth 50 cents to $1 because somebody else could buy a similar list. Or you can go and take a look at the lifetime value of these customers. So let's say that 20% of the people on your email list eat with you on a monthly basis, and you might put a value to that. The other thing is, I would probably contact a valuation company and ask them for help here. And that might cost you a few $1,000s for them to give you some advice on how to go about doing this. But I think probably your most valuable asset there is the customer list and their contact information. If the brand is really well established and people think very highly of it and you're bringing in good money, that brand in that particular region is probably powerful, and you'd have to get somebody outside to value something like that. And to license the copyrighted trade secrets, again, depends on how big you are. You know, I'm in Philadelphia, and Pat's and Gino's are well-known steak shop companies. They're internationally known. When people fly here from anywhere in the world, they always want to go and get steak sandwiches from Pat's and Gino's, and that's because they've been featured in movies, They're in everything at Philadelphia, and people think of them as the quintessential steak sandwich place. They're good. I'm not going to say they're the best, but they're good. And so for them to give up their copyrighted trade secrets, I think that there's a lot of value to those because they're so well known. So I don't know how well known your company is, but if it's really well known brand in your region, well, that would be powerful, and of course very important to be able to go and get some real value for that because of what you've been able to do. Okay, so the next question comes from Terry Jones. Terry asks, what should I be working on while I'm waiting for my cosmetic product to come back from the lab? Working on starting a new clean cosmetic brand. I have packaging, waiting on trademarks, website, social media names are secured. I have an EIN and business account. Waiting on product to get photos to move forward with the website. That has not been started. So, Terry, if I were you, I would put all the content on the website together. I would get stock photos, and when your real photos come in, I would put those in place so it's ready to go. I would create an e-newsletter that shows your different products and get that ready to go, along with putting your database together. So I myself use GoDaddy, so I would put that database together in GoDaddy, get GoDaddy to go and create a branded newsletter for me, have that ready. I would put together content that I would have on Facebook, and I would have a series of things for that. I would, because you have a cosmetic product, you're going to create your Instagram page and show pictures of that. So all of those things, I would get them all in place, including your announcement. If you're going to send out, if you are a local company, you might send out a press release to the local media, television, radio, print, and online, and get all of those things done and get them ready to go out. So that way, when you finally get your product and your shopping cart and everything are in place, your website is ready to go, then all you have to do is turn it on, send out those emails, post those things, and now you're ready to go and start selling. And the other thing I might do if I were you is create a series of YouTube videos that talk about your products and maybe even show people how they work. So right now, since you haven't launched and you do have, I'm guessing, samples of the product, you could go and create a series of videos, you know, how to use it for when you go to work, how to use it for when you're socializing with your girlfriends, when you're going to a wedding. Anywhere that you would use your cosmetic product, you can create short 1-minute videos, or no more than 5 minutes, but preferably 1 minute. You can tell a lot of information in 1 minute, and then start posting them both on Instagram, on Facebook, on your website, and sending them out in emails. I don't know that Twitter would work as well, but again, you could at least announce on Twitter and let people constantly know what new things that you're coming out with. Our last question comes from Joe Nugent. Joe asked, how do I figure out how much I can pay someone for a sales position that is salary plus commission? I own a home inspection company. I'm adding an outside business development position and unsure how much I can afford to pay them with a salary plus a bonus. I work with people buying a home to inspect it prior to closing to ensure that the home is safe and all systems and components are working properly. I also work with seasonal residents to look after their slice of paradise. Joe, here's what I would do if I were you. One is, I'm assuming these sales happen quickly. It's not like you're selling a $50,000 product that has to go through a lot of approvals or a high-end expensive service. So I'm assuming here, and my uncle was in this business himself, that he just got a commission for every one of these. He didn't get an actual salary for these. Now, if we're talking about the person doing the home inspection, but if we're talking about the person who is selling this service where you're sending out home inspectors, then you might take a look at what's a competitive salary for people who are doing this, maybe not just in your region, but outside your region, and call companies and ask them, hey, I'm in an area that's non-competitor to you. I've opened up this business. I'd like to know, what do you pay people to do it? What's the compensation? I'd look on jobs.com and see what's on there. Salary.com also could be a place where you could find this information and be able to go and use it to figure this out. The other thing I might do is contact a trade association that you belong to of home inspectors, whether it's local, state, or national, and ask them how the compensation packages are developed, and is it a salary plus a bonus or salary plus a commission? How does that work? And then I would follow that as my lead. Well, I enjoyed talking to all of you. I hope all of you have an amazing and wonderful Thanksgiving. It's been a pleasure to speak to all of you, and we look forward to getting more questions from you. Again, have a wonderful, safe Thanksgiving, and really enjoy that turkey. Thanksgiving is absolutely my favorite holiday because I love to watch football from 12 o'clock until my eyeballs fall out at about 11 o'clock at night. Take care.